Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the quickest way to get into cryptocurrency mining today in 2021. Getting started in about 10 to 15 minutes. What are the prerequisites for beginning mining like this? I'm going to be using NiceHash Miner today. Answering questions like, will this reduce the life of my GPU? Am I physically mining Bitcoin or Ethereum? Will I be profitable? Will I be paying more for electricity than I will be actually getting in yield from this mining process? I'm going to be answering that question and providing you all with a great tool that I use that's really accurate in helping you establish that. What does a NiceHash platform look like? So I'm going to be running you through what my dashboards look like, what the platform looks like for me, and then some great tools and tips in getting it working in the correct way. And then what are some of the risks and challenges that you might face? I've been using this platform for quite a while now. I'm going to be talking about some of the challenges I've faced and what it's going to look like as you begin to start scaling. So without further ado, let's get going. So let's go over the prerequisites first and what we're going to need before we get started. So the first thing is a Bitcoin wallet. This is necessary when you're creating your NiceHash profile and you need to specify where they need to send your Bitcoin. So I use the Bitcoin wallet on my Coinbase exchange, on my Coinbase app. The reason I do this is because it allows me to act on selling that Bitcoin immediately when I need to. And there's a huge need around that if you look at my other video, which explains some of the problems that people have been facing around NiceHash and the maintenance mode issues and the slow transactions. So this really helps me mitigate that problem. I have it attached to my Coinbase. Let me know if you all want to see a video on how I've created my Coinbase wallet and how I've attached it to NiceHash. It's not that complicated, but if you want to see it, do let me know in the comments. You need to create a NiceHash account. This will mean going to nicehash.com. I'll put a link in the description and then just physically creating an account ready to mine on. It's really simple, really straightforward process, and you'll actually come to see that it's quite secure as well, which is great. We're going to be needing a Windows PC for this because NiceHash Miner works on Windows. So if you're visiting this video from Linux, I apologize, this video isn't for you, but I will be coming out with videos with alternative solutions for you. You are also going to need a GPU, and that's going to be NVIDIA or AMD. I don't think that NiceHash supports any other kind of GPU or graphics card. Again, if I'm wrong about that, please do let me know in the comments section, but you're going to need one of the two. And I'm going to explain why CPU mining isn't really the way to go in this video as well. Then we're going to go ahead and download the NiceHash Miner. I'm going to show you which one that is and what package you should be installing. You're then going to need to set up an exception on your antivirus. That might either be your Windows Defender, or I've downloaded McAfee and I feel like it's a lot easier to create an exception on McAfee. You're going to need an overclocking tool. For me, the best by far is MSI Afterburner. That's the one I'm going to be using. The reason why we're going to want this is we want our cards to perform efficiently at great temperatures and at high hash rates. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that. And then finally, a cold drink of your choice to celebrate the fact that you've started mining. So let's get started. We're going to want to go to nicehash.com. You're going to want to click get started. So I'll just go back and show you where that is. So that's just right here, get started. So you're going to want to enter your email address, your password, and specify which region you're in, and then create that account. It's a really simple process. Once that's ready, it's going to ask for validation and you're going to be directed to your dashboard. So this is what my dashboard looks like. My current profitability is here. This is all going to be blank for you at the moment because you don't actually have a miner set up. But after some time, you're going to be able to see your recent activity, any hash power orders that you've put in. I've created a watch list so I can have a look at the movement of my favorite coins. We're going to have the option to go to our rig manager. I'm going to show you what that is in a minute. And we're going to see our total assets here as well as our active and inactive rigs. So in my opinion, I've actually seen a number of mining platforms. And for me, this has the best UI by far. I really have great visibility into my rigs in real time here. And it looks really beautiful as well. I've opted for the dark theme. So if you don't have that, then don't worry. It's just about going into settings and enabling that. But I'm going to go to Rig Manager and I have rigs connected. Now the reason why the temperature value isn't showing up for my Andromeda rig and it's saying unmanaged is because I've connected to NiceHash through Hive OS, and this is my GPU mining rig. So I'll be discussing in another video on how you can get that configured, connect to NiceHash through Hive OS, and what that should look like. But this is my rig name here. The way I'm going to make this rig visible here is I'm going to have to download the miner. So I'm going to click here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this option right here. So you can see it supports AMD, NVIDIA, or by Intel they mean the CPUs here. So we're going to click on that and download it. So we can see as an important point, it's going to want us to disable Windows Defender. This might be quite alarming at first. It's because most mining software is picked up as a threat by your Windows Defender or McAfee or any antivirus solution you have. So it's really about either creating an exception or just disabling it altogether. So I've actually disabled mine, but it's really up to you. But once we've done that, or if we're choosing to do that later, we're just going to go to GitHub and download. It's going to open up a new page here, and we're going to want to download the installer. So I'm going to click on that. Now I already have it downloaded, so this is going to be a useless process. It's just going to throw an error. Another application is using that. So I already have mine open, so it's throwing an error, but it's really about just installing in the same way as you would any other profile. Thank you very much, McAfee. So when we've done that, it's going to ask us to log in on our actual NiceHash miner. So you're just going to want to log in, and then you're immediately going to be met with your dashboard here. And what you'll notice as well is that on your rig manager on the web portal, your rig will show up here. Now there won't be any values in there in terms of profitability or anything because your rig hasn't even been benchmarked, let alone started yet. But we're going to get you up and running now. So we're going to go back to the NiceHash miner, but let's have a look at quickly configuring that. If it hasn't prompted you to already, in the settings you're going to want to enter your wallet address. So this won't be your Coinbase wallet address. What this will actually be is the mining location that you're going to be using. So if we go to our actual wallet here, this Bitcoin wallet, we're going to want to deposit, and it's this address that we're going to see right here. So this for me is my wallet address. You're going to want to copy that, and you're going to put that straight into your miner. So we're going to put that value into this wallet address right here. Our worker name, I've called it The Lab because my PC is all white and I like that name, but you can pick whatever name you like. Your time unit, I've put mine in days because I want to see my profitability per day. I've done mine regardless of profit because I'm pretty confident in it, but you can actually put your electricity cost here, your minimum profit that you're willing to accept, and you can have that display your net profit instead of what you're making, your profitability per day excluding electricity. You can now have it including the electricity cost. You're going to select your location. So for me, that's Europe, Amsterdam, considering I'm here in the UK and that's the closest to me. But obviously pick the one that's most relevant for you. Localization, I'm going to pick English as a language, and the currency, I want GBP because I live in England. And then like I said here with the appearance, I've chosen the dark theme, but I just like to keep that on dark theme. It's much easier in the eyes. I also want to update my NiceHash miner. I don't want to be really doing that manually. I don't need to create a log report unless there is a bug, but at least you know that option is there. In terms of advanced, you can configure advanced settings here. So if you're looking to bring it to a log file, I do this because I want to actually bring it into an Elasticsearch engine like Splunk. If you're looking to do that, then these are the options that you're going to want to look at here. And that's really all there is to it. What we're going to notice is in our dashboard, it's going to auto detect what devices we have. So for me, I can immediately see that I've got one GPU and one CPU available to me. In my devices, I can see that the CPU available to me is the i9 9900K and the GPU is the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 Ti. But first, before I actually get into that, I want to know if this is actually even profitable. So I'm going to go to the NiceHash profitability calculator, and I'm going to put the link to this in the description. This is definitely my favorite tool. There are others out there like What2Mine. In terms of just simplicity and accuracy, I can validate the electricity cost accuracy on this, and I can also validate the profitability. So it does auto detect the devices, but I choose to do it manually. So my 2080 Ti is going to make £5.56 per day. I can click update. I can just click calculate one more time to get so I actually made 2 pence, £5.58 per day. That's £198 a month minus electricity is £168, which is pretty good for one graphics card. I'm going to divide that by 2 because I'm not going to be keeping this mining 24/7. If I'm going to be mining on my gaming PC, it's going to be at night or when I'm not using it. So I'm probably looking at about 80 to 100 quid in terms of takeaway at the end of this month, which I think isn't bad in terms of just making a little bit of side cash. But I did mention that CPU mining might be a problem. Why might CPU mining be a problem? So I'm going to pick my i9 9900K, which even though it's not the most updated CPU, it's still considered to be one of the most powerful. And with my, pretty absurd electricity cost, I think you should expect about 14 pence, but the tariff for me has gone up, unfortunately. And if I hit calculate, it's only going to give me 2 pence a day. I mean, it would yield £13 a month in an ideal world where electricity is free. But for electricity, I'm paying £12.11 a month, which only leaves me at £1.20 at the end of the month. The other huge problem with CPU mining is your CPU gets really hot really fast. And I use liquid cooling on my CPU and it still gets hot. So if you're planning on doing this in a laptop, I really would not suggest it. You will see severe levels of degradation in your performance on your computer. So I would definitely say stay away from CPU mining. If you're looking to do it and you have some great experience, put it in the comments section. Would love to hear about it. But in my opinion, it's really not worth it. So we want to stick to GPUs. You can find out your electricity cost on your online portal. So my smart meter actually tells me how much I'm paying in electricity and what my tariff amount is. So I've entered that into here, and you can enter whichever device. So if you have a 3080, which is absolutely booming at the moment, I'm absolutely loving the profits I'm seeing on that. That's a great £9.46 a day. And I will put in another video what my 3000 series GPU rig is looking like. Definitely the way to go. But whichever GPU you're working with, you just have to enter that into there, click calculate, and you can have a look at that. So if you've got 5 3080s running, you're looking at about 1,571 before electricity, 1,418 after, which is absolutely insane. So now we are ready. We have the NiceHash miner downloaded. We know that our GPUs are going to be profitable. I can actually sit here and comfort you and say, I promise you what it said there, you can actually get even more profitable than that. Because I've beaten those values, and many people online have as well, thanks to overclocking. So I use MSI Afterburner. As you'll see, I have these presets already put in for my 2080 Ti. That's 60% power. I want to limit the amount of power I'm using. The less electricity I'm using, the higher hash rate, the better the yield. I want to put my core clock down. The reason is because I want most of my power to be directed to the memory clock. That's where I'm going to get the high hash rates. And I want to put that up, but not too high. If my core clock and my power are too low and my memory clock is too high, we're going to get invalid and rejected shares, and we don't want that. That's lost hash rate, and lost hash rate means decreased profits. I'm going to go into that in another video. But the fan speed, I'm setting that at 70, which is a pretty reasonable amount, and all there is to do is to click start mining. But because it's your first time, you're actually going to want to start with a benchmark. Again, I would disable the CPU, go down. If you're not seeing all of these options, that's fine. Go to your plugins and just install them from here. But go to your benchmark area, benchmark all of these algorithms. It's definitely worth doing all of them on your first time. The reason why I have a lot of them disabled is because I'm quite confident in these algorithms right here for my GPU. They're the most profitable for me at the moment. I don't really want to waste my time with the auto switching on the other algorithms. That's just increased downtime. So I just have these ones selected. These are the algorithms that I want to mine on, and you'll find your ones over time. So once we have them all benchmarked, it's just about going to your dashboard and click start mining. And the beautiful process of mining begins. No programming needed, no technical understanding. It does it all for you. And the great thing about NiceHash is it auto switches whichever algorithm you're mining on, depending on which one is the most profitable. I'm going to pause this for now, and I'm going to explain what I mean. So these are all separate algorithms that mine different coins. Now, whichever one is the most profitable, depending on fees, depending on the yield, NiceHash will switch to that. It's also going to be very dependent on what your speed is on that algorithm, so what you benchmarked at. So be sure to check your clock settings for your GPU, which are normally available on the NiceHash website. I'll put the link to that page in the description. So be sure to set your OC settings correctly, then do the benchmarking, and it will switch to the most profitable algorithm for you. Then once it's done, you're just going to click start mining and let it whir away. I normally don't touch my computer at all. If you want an even higher yield, unplug your HDMI and just let the GPU work away. But that's really all there is to it in terms of GPU mining with NiceHash, getting started. See how it goes. You know, I started mining on my gaming PC a few years back. It really proved the concept to me, especially when I got the 2080 Ti. I ended up seeing that I was getting a great yield out of it. And then with the rise in the price of Bitcoin, I was confident enough to go and buy myself a GPU mining rig and build it. So if you're interested in this space, try it out. Try it on your gaming PC, see how it goes, and if this is something you want to invest in, then as GPUs become more readily available, you'll know whether you want to make that move or not. But if you are interested in GPU mining, check out my video that's coming out shortly after this one on the 3000 series GPU mining rig that I have, how I've configured it on all the different other platforms that I'm using to manage that mining rig. So I guess with this, it just kind of shows you that GPU mining is very much still alive. You can still make a huge amount. We saw what 5 3080s can make, and I've got my 3000 series GPU mining rig behind me whirring away, and I'm going to be talking to you about the profitability through that. So GPU mining certainly is not dead. In my opinion, it's actually the way to go. So be sure to tune into that video when it comes out. Does this actually affect the life of your GPU? The answer to that is it can. If you don't manage your overclocking settings correctly and you let your GPU get too hot, it will affect the performance. Fundamentally, these GPUs are made to be under high load, but not under that load all the time. So if you have your GPU running at 100% power and you have all of the settings pumped up and your GPU is working at that all the time, it's going to end up thrashing itself at a high temperature that is going to reduce the life. That is why I've put my fans up to 70%, power limit at 60% to ensure that the temperatures on my GPU are remaining stable. And I can tell you that they remain about 60 degrees, which is not nearly enough to affect the performance of my GPU. I've been mining on this GPU for a while now, and I also play Warzone and Black Ops, and it hasn't done anything to the performance of the GPU. I'll be putting a link to the best ways you can overclock your GPU in the description. But I hope this has been really useful. I know that it's been quite a quick skim over what you need to do to get configured, but all the other steps should be pretty straightforward. But to summarize, all you're really doing is you're checking the profitability of your GPU on the profitability calculator, you're setting up a NiceHash account, you're specifying on there that you want to get paid to your personal Bitcoin wallet address. You're then putting your NiceHash Bitcoin wallet address in your NiceHash miner that you're installing on Windows, and then you're just clicking play after you've done your overclocking settings, of course. And that's it. You started mining, you're acquiring Bitcoin, and if I do that now, I think we saw £4 something a little earlier. I'm getting a tidy £4.91 a day roughly, which is great. I'm really happy with that. It's also worth mentioning that I know we saw £5 something on the NiceHash calculator, and that's £4.91. And you might be alarmed and you might say, you know, it should be a lot higher than that. The price fluctuates. This has gone all the way up to £8 today for me. So just want to take this opportunity also to show you that we can see our hash rate here, and we can also see one rejected share. So this would suggest to me that my overclocking settings aren't correct, that I can do better. Firstly, I know that I can get up to 60 mega hash with a 2080 Ti. And secondly, I don't want a rejected share. So I'm going to get back to you on how I've updated those settings in order to stop rejected shares and to increase that hash rate. But until then, good luck to all of you who are looking to start mining. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments, and I hope it all goes well for you. Until the next time, goodbye.